Many years ago, in the town of Ugidi, there lived a young beautiful woman named Adugo. She was the only child of Mr. and Mrs. Akachuku. They are devoted Christians, serving in the church. Adugo was raised by her parents to be very respectful and hardworking. She also grew with moral standards that set her apart from her peers. Adugo had a large heart and receptive. This virtue she imbibed whilst growing up. She saw her parents taking care of the poor, supporting the needy with the little they had. Adugo also grew to love children. She had always wished she had siblings, so she was always happy when little children were around her. Whenever Adugo returned from school during long breaks, the children ran to welcome her whenever they sighted the motorcycle that brought her home. They were so happy whenever she was around, and she made sure she had little gifts for the children, which made them very happy. As years passed, Adugo grew into a very beautiful young woman. She soon was through with her university education, graduated with top grades. The young men in her church admired her, but none of them had the courage to tell her how they feel about her. They knew Adugo to be a very disciplined young woman, a hard nut to crack. Adugo's desire as a child has always been to get married to a man that is rooted in the church, so she could continue her ministry. Her parents also expected nothing less, as they also wanted their daughter to walk in the steps of service in ministry. The church had a program where some ministers were invited to come minister in their church. So during one of such programs, one of the visiting ministers was a young man named Tunde. He was very zealous and oratory. The congregation were thrilled at his preaching that day. During service that day, Adugo could not help but admire the fervency of Tunde for God. She admired his knowledge of God's word. This melted her heart. Who could this man be? I've never seen such fervency from a young man. After service, her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Akachuku, asked one of the ushers to go get Adugo at the children's church. Before Tunde leaves to his location, Tunde said to Adugo's parents, "I'm impressed. Your daughter must really love children. For her to be serving there, yes indeed. She really loves children," Adugo's mother responded. "That's her ministry." "Wow, that's beautiful," replied Tunde. 2 moments later, Adugo joined her parents. She was then introduced to Tunde. Tunde was a very handsome man who any woman could fall for. Not only does he have this physical quality, he also served in the church, which was a great quality as far as Adugo is concerned. Tunde could not help but compliment Adugo for her beauty and love for children. Tunde said to Adugo, "It's surprising that such a beautiful young woman like you would prefer to serve in the children's ministry. I know it only takes a kind and humble person to serve in the children's ministry." "Thank you so much," said Adugo. Tunde and Adugo talked more as her parents left them together to familiarize with each other. As Tunde was about to leave, they exchanged phone numbers. When Tunde got to his location, he called Adugo on the phone. Tunde and Adugo's relationship became deeper. After some months, Tunde returned to see Adugo's parents to tell them of his plans to marry Adugo. Her parents were so happy that their daughter was getting married to Tunde. They have always admired him. They have wished to have him as a son-in-law. And now it was finally coming true. Adugo had no reason to doubt Tunde's love for her, so she accepted his proposal. Months after, Adugo and Tunde got married. It was a beautiful and simple wedding, which was well attended by the town, as the people loved and respected Adugo and her parents. Few days after their wedding, Tunde and Adugo were preparing to leave for the city. It saddened their hearts that Adugo would be leaving them and their children, so they turned up in large number to bid her and Tunde farewell. The children hugged Adugo, finally for the last time. It was so emotional for Adugo. She could not hold back her tears. She was finally leaving the children that have been part of her life all these years. Adugo missed her parents, but she was happy that she was facing this phase of her life with someone who loves and cares for her. Tunde was living with his mother and 2 sisters in his father's house. He was the only son of his parents. He never thought it necessary to rent a house to start a new life with his new bride. The house was big enough for everybody and it was very comfortable. Adugo, though, raised an eyebrow about them living in Tunde's family house with his mother and 2 sisters. But Tunde convinced her that she should not bother. Adugo, you will like my mother and my two sisters. They are cool and accommodating. More so, my mother is a deaconess in the church. Adugo, hearing that, tried to believe it was true, so there was no need to bother about them. Adugo was welcomed by her mother-in-law, Madam Bigbe, and his sisters, Titi and Omalayo. Though Adugo was married to her heartthrob Tunde, but she got a lot of work to do, making her mother-in-law and sister-in-laws to love her. It was an intertribal marriage, so she knew it was not going to be a walk in the park. She tried to please her mother-in-law by cooking all the foods, cleaning the house, and making sure her mother-in-law was comfortable. But behind her kind smiles, Madame Bingbe's heart was filled with bitterness. Madame Bingbe have always wanted her son Tunde to get married to Bola, a sweet angel she has always admired in church. Bola had this sonorous voice. Whenever she sings, her voice was so calming and distinct, giving hope to its hearers. So, Bola was from a wealthy home. Her father was a former commissioner. He was still a successful politician in the state. Bola was their only daughter, and everybody knew that any man that would marry Bola was made financially. Madam Bimpe wished to be part of this distinguished family. She was so happy when she saw Bola and Tunde being involved in many activities in the church. But her hope was dashed into pieces when Tunde told her he had met a lady in one of his visits to a church in another town. Not just that, she was from the eastern part. Omoibo, she asked in a sad tone and disappointment on her face. Yes, mother, said Tunde. But my son, I thought you had something for Bola. Ha, mother, exclaimed Tunde in utter disbelief. Is that how it works? Mother, do you think that every relationship must end in marriage? We are only co-workers in the church and nothing else. Tunde, I'm not happy at all, replied Madam Bigbe. I want a daughter-in-law that speaks and understands our vernacular, the one that I have to stress myself speaking grammar with. As you know, I don't have much education, ma. Don't bother yourself now. Adugo is very humble and receptive. Like her when you meet her. Tunde tried to convince his mother that Mbingpe has envisioned her son marrying from a wealthy family, not a modest one, like Adugo's. Despite her reservations, she kept her feelings hidden during the wedding. A year into their marriage, Madame Bingpe started making subtle comments about grandchildren in the presence of everyone. She would tease Adugo when everyone is together. Adugo, when will you make me a grandmother? She would ask. Her tone, seemingly innocent, but laced with impatience. Adugo felt the weight of these expectations, but did not allow it bother her. It's true she wanted children. She knew it would only happen in God's time. Madame Bingpe's increased as she saw her son Tunde also not bothered about Adugo's infertility. It was now 3 years since they got married. Madame Bigbe's comments soon turned into actions. She would purposely make Adugo run errands for her, do difficult chores, often criticizing her cooking and housekeeping. Titi and Omolayo ate without cooking or assisting Adugo in cooking. Madame Bigbe said to Adugo one afternoon, after a long time making different soups and stew, as Adugo served her lunch, she said to Adugo, is this how your mother taught you how to cook? As she turned the food on the floor, Mama, no now, screamed Adugo in anger and pain. She held herself, reminded herself that this was her mother-in-law, so she needed to take it easy with her. Mama, why pour the food away now? If you don't like it, I will make another food for you. Chief cook, thank you very much, replied Madame Bingpe mockingly. So you make me go hungry again in my home with this your tasteless food in my own house, oh. I do not blame you. Cook, you cannot cook. Give me children and you cannot give me. You are here wasting my son's money. Nonsense, as she walked into the kitchen. Tunde's sisters, who had nothing to do but idle around all day, they are gossiping or watching TV, joined their mother in belittling Adugo. They made a caricature of her efforts to please them. You should take cooking classes, Adugo, Titi would say with a smug. Adugo's heart ached. She wondered how full-grown adults like this will not have a skill or a job rather than make her case their full-time business. I thank God that you're also women, Adugo thought to herself. Adugo only managed to hold her head high that afternoon. That evening, when Tunde came back, Adugo narrated all that happened to him. She was expecting him to react, but he only said to her, Adugo, you have to be patient with Mama now. You should understand now that sometimes she snaps easily. Tunde, stop this now. You mean to the extent of pouring the food I cooked away? Are you even listening, Tunde? Tunde, please, I'm already tired of living with your mother and sisters, who will not allow me have peace in my home. As for your sisters, have they turned to Nnaganu? Which one is Nnaga? Asked Tunde. Well, said Adugo, in his question. Please, let's go rent a house, so we can have our space. Since we got married, we have not enjoyed our space, and this really affects our marriage. Your people are always poke-nosing into our affairs and making this place toxic. Adugo, whatever it is, you just have to know how to make yourself comfortable. This is your home too. I cannot leave this beautiful house to go rent a house when I have this. Hey Tunde, please Adugo, you just have to find a way to please my mother. What should bother you now is us having kids, not this talks here and there. Are you not bothered? It's now 5 years and no child yet. Adugo, you know that I'm not happy. I'm under pressure as the first and only son of my parents. As he went into the bathroom to shower, Adugo was in tears. I never thought this day would come. Tunde's fate is failing him. I thought his fate and mine will see us through this season of our lives. I know all this pressure from his mother and sisters is already affecting him. God, please, do not allow me see shame. I need your comforting arms to hold me this time. Adugo was so touched by Tunde's words, but there was nothing she could do. As years passed on, Tunde and Adugo, having sought both medical and spiritual help concerning their infertility, Tunde's behavior began to change. He grew distant and irritable. The love and warmth he once showed Adugo began to fade away. Even when Adugo tried to encourage him and reminding him who he was, he said to Adugo, I'm being real here. I cannot wait again, Adugo. It's now 8 years. My mother is tormenting me with words. My sisters too are not helping matters, said Tunde in pain. Adugo said to Tunde, please remember who we are. Let's be patient. We will carry our own child. How long are we going to wait? Asked Tunde. I'm just tired. One evening, after a particularly harsh scolding from Madam Migwe, Adugo sought comfort from Tunde. She said to him, please talk to your mother. Her words hurt me. She's a woman like me. Why will she be calling me a barren woman? Do I need her to remind me that I'm without a child? Why will she continue to cause me much pain? Don't she have daughters too? Before Adaugo could finish speaking, Madam Bigwe busted into their bedroom and slapped her. What? Cried Adugo. Mama, you slapped me. What's my offense? You came here and you are doing ameba with my son. So you mean I should continue to be quiet and fold my hands and watch things go bizarre? I should not say the truth, Abi. See how my son is losing weight. As for you, if you like lose weight, none of my business. It's your own cup of tea. After all, it's your job as a woman to give us children. See, Adugo, whatever you used to hold my son, it will not work. You're asking my son to warn me. Warn me, Ke. Adugo was weeping bitterly as she watched Tunde do nothing. All he did was stand up, said to her, Adugo, sorry for what just happened. Hey, you need to try harder. Maybe then things will get better, he replied, leaving her to drown in her sorrow, making her feel more lonely than ever. Adugo later on in the day called her mother on the phone. Mother, you won't believe what happened today. Tunde's mother slapped me after she called me a barren woman. The one that pierced my heart, mother, is that Tunde could not say a word to his mother. Rather, he told me to try harder, meaning I have to try harder to give him a child. Oh, my child, please put yourself together. Stop crying, Nwam, replied Adogo's mother. Now, how can a child come such a toxic and bitter environment? Why should Tunde behave this way, allowing his mother to run his affairs for him? What happened to Tunde? He has really changed. Adugo, if this continues, I would advise you return home. It's only the living that stays married. Since Tunde's mother have no respect for her son and can slap you before him, child, the truth be told, Tunde is no longer with you. Soul has left. It's only his body that is still with you. Mother, said Adugo. I know. Just that I'm the one that will lose here. I have thought about it. If I come back now, Tunde will have all the excuse that I ran away from my marriage. So that's why he's with another woman. Adugo, please, if you're no longer comfortable and your life is at risk over there, better live when you're still alive. Be strong, my child. Ndo, stop weeping. All I know is that God is alive. Always remember that you are fruitful. You will bear sons and daughters. Take care of yourself. Yes, mother. My regards to dad. And please don't tell him what I just told you. No problems, my child. But let this not continue. I can't continue to be quiet when you are being maltreated in your matrimonial home. This is not done now. Bye, mom, said Adugo as she dropped the call. She thought Tunde was who he claimed to be. Adugo continued to be patient and hopeful that she will bear her husband children. Said to herself, after all, Madam Binkwe and her daughters are not my problem. The bone of contention here is infertility, so I blame no one, she said as she thought about a lot of things. Later on that night, Adugo had a dream. She saw an old woman dragging a child with her. This child is not yours, can never be yours. She angrily said to Adugo, we never have a child for him. So after what he did to me, he will never hear the cry of a child in his home. Adugo pleaded with the old woman, forgive her, please ma, I am innocent, please. Let me not suffer for another man's sins. The woman replied, marriage, you are one, so whatever affects your husband affects you. The old woman continued to rain abuses and curses on Adugo. Adugo wept and pleaded with the woman to show her mercy, but she refused. She woke up and tried to think about the dream she just had. It was difficult to interpret. Tunde, an old woman, what did he do to this old woman that made her vow that he would never have a child? Who is this woman? She asked. Tuma must be mean. Despite all my pleas, she remained adamant. Adugo was still there, remaining sane over whom she just had. When she heard Tunde's mother and her sisters shouting her name, what could be the problem this early morning now? Now wow, somebody will never have peace in this house. Oh. I don't have any strength this morning for any fight. Adugo quickly got up from her bed, had a change of clothes and rushed to the sitting room to go meet Madam Binkwe and her daughters. Mama, good morning, ma. Adugo greeted Tunde's mother. See, this witch, just hold that your good morning there. You this barren witch. So you have been the one eating up all your children, and you are here pretending to be a church girl. I want Tunde, oh. I want Tunde. Adugo in tears replied her, God forbid, I am not barren. I will bear children for my husband. Adugo, you are trying to talk back at me, Abi. While they were still talking, Tunde walked right into the tensed atmosphere. He saw Adugo crying. So he asked her, Adugo, what's the problem? Why are you crying? What is happening here? Mama, why are you calling me witch? Tunde, my son, you won't say I did not warn you. You will not say I did not warn you before you went to bring this useless girl here. This is Caro, Titi's closest friend. They both went to see a prophetess, and they were told that your wife here have been the cause of your childlessness. It was revealed that an old woman placed a spell on her that she will never bear you children. God forbid, Mama. I'm not under any spell, Adugo interjected. Ah, Mama, said Tunde, you know we don't believe in all these prophetess and their fake visions that usually tears a family apart. So that my wife is a witch, that she's the one eating her children, Mama. It's so unbelievable. And my son, you are finished though. I know you're under a spell. Madam Bigbe rushed to Adugo. Adugo, what did you do to my son? Holding her by the clothes, Adugo said to her, Mama, stop now. Stop this now. Why are you pulling my clothes now? She tried to take off her hands. Titi and her sister Omalayo joined hands to beat up Adugo. Tunde tried to stop them, but they overpowered him and dealt with Adugo in his presence. Adugo was later taken to a clinic nearby. 2 days later, Adugo was discharged. Her childhood friend Naza, who had just to Lagos to visit her, Adugo, I'm so sorry for all you are passing through. In the hands of your in-laws. Not all mother in-laws and in-laws are like this. Tunde's mother is just wicked and selfish. She just wants you out of her son's life. She is a woman too, and she understands the pain you are passing through. She has just refused to be empathic here. Well, for me, Adugo, I would advise you go back to your parents' house. You just have to take a break. If Tunde cannot protect you from his mother and sisters, what will be your fate? In the hands of strangers, that means he will totally look away. It is well. This phase will surely pass by. You remembered how I had 3 miscarriages before I had my first son, Ugonna. And today I have them 4. Thank you so much, Naza, for always being here for me, said Adugo. That's why I'm Naza now. Or do you have another Naza anywhere? Naza asked jokingly. Naza, how is Ugonna and his siblings? Well, those ones. Just do and join us so. Their trouble is on another level. These kids, they are not easy to handle at all. When Adugo returned from the hospital, Tunde continued to plead with Adugo to forgive him his mother and sisters. Adugo, please forgive my mother. She's also like your mother, please. Tunde, how in this world can you compare your mother to my mother? It's unbelievable, Tunde. How you side your mom and sisters. I never knew you're a mama's boy. I had always looked at you to be very responsible, having a mind of your own. Tunde, I'm very disappointed at you. I have nothing against your mother and sisters. It's you, Tunde, that gave them the go-ahead. So we got married. I've been patient with your family all these years, all their excesses. Is it the constant insults, the pressure to have children, and your indifference these past years, which have broken my spirit? Tunde, I've had enough. Need a break. Let me cool off my head. A mother that called herself a deaconess had the temerity calling me a barren witch, that I'm the one eating up all my children. Tunde, it is you that need to go and check your past. If I say anything now, you say it's because of what the prophetess said. So no need. Maybe your family is more important to you than me. If not, tell me why your mother will be maltreating me all these years since I got married to you. I have never had peace. You have never spoken hardly to your mom or your sisters. Refused to get married and leave their father's house. When I complained, Tunde, you asked me to be patient with them. So I'm a log of wood. You know that it's only a log of wood that sees us coming and stand still. Tunde, please just leave me alone. So the next morning, Adugo packed some of her clothes and the few things she needed and left the house, seeking refuge at her parents' home. Her mother welcomed her with open hands. She said to her, Adugo, my child, I want you to know you are not alone in this journey. We are here with you, joining hands together as you go through this phase of your life. I never knew Tunde's mother was this callous. Thought you were getting married to a Christian home. Never knew they were wolves in sheep clothing. Thank you, mother, for everything. Mother, I'm so sorry for disappointing you and father. Dugo, please don't say that again. We also supported you. We also looked forward to you marrying Tunde. It's not your fault, okay? Just go and shower as I make dinner for you. That night, Tunde felt the absence of Adugo and Bingwe, that her son was in pain, went into his bedroom, sat on the sofa. In a quiet and sad tone, she said to Tunde, with guilt in her eyes, I know you are not happy. Adugo went to her parents' house. Son, I did all this for you. See, as a mother, I will not sit and see you, my only son, being bewitched by a fellow woman. Believe all that that prophetess said about Adugo, that she is the cause of her childlessness. I will not be alive to see this. Tunde, you have to make hay while the sun shines. The prophetess also said you need cleansing so your life can become straight and better. Tunde, if you can tell yourself the truth, you will see that your ministry have not improved. You should be thanking your sisters and I for fighting for you since you cannot fight for yourself. Tunde looked at his mother in utter disbelief. You see, Bola, she's still there. Oh, I love her. She's a sweet angel with an angelic voice. I'm sure that if you had gotten married to Bola, by now I would be carrying my grandchildren. Much more, your life would have become much better than it is now. Tunde just sat there lost in thought, not giving ears to the unreasonable words flowing from his mother's mouth. He did not know what to believe. He was already tired from the constant naggings from his mother. It was now 2 months since Adugo came back to her parents' house. She was now able to gather enough strength and advice from her parents. They encouraged her to return to Tunde and fight for her marriage. Your position is right in the heart of Tunde, your husband. Adam, you have to be strong. Continued Adugo's father. See this trouble. You will surely overcome it. Just don't lose hope. I wish my son-in-law Tunde would listen to us and consider IVF. I don't know why he's so ignorant. Well, Adugo, you just have to continue talking to him. He needs to get a better understanding about this procedure. Adugo was so grateful to her parents. She thanked her father and mother for their unwavering support at this trying time. The next morning, Adugo traveled back to Lagos. With renewed determination, she returned to her marital home. When she got home that afternoon, she was greeted with cold stares from Madam Bigwe and Titi. It was later that she found out that Omolayo had gone to visit her fiancé in another town. She said to herself firmly that she has come to stay and no going back as she walked into her bedroom. Thank you so much for watching this story. We're going to find out in the second part of this story what later happened after the return of Adugo to her marital home. Was the vision of the prophetess true? Also, what was Tunde's reaction? Many more questions that need answers. Thank you so much for your unwavering support. To all my subscribers and returning viewers, I'm grateful. Please share this beautiful story with your loved ones and friends. Also, give a thumbs up to this story. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel for more beautiful stories. Until we meet again next time, stay blessed and bye.